Hello, bonjour, everyone. This is Joel, co-host of Middle of the Res Road. Welcome to our podcast. I'm here with as always, with our guests, co-host, I should say, Ricky and Alyssa. And today in the podcast booth, we have Jacob.
Hi, Jacob. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys? Happy to be here.
We're good. We're good. It's early. Just getting the day going.
What'd you do for Valentine's Day?
What did I do? I went to Red Lobster. It was a rainy one this Valentine's Day. It really was. You know, I slid right down into Red Lobster, so that was a fun, exciting day. And
Which is weird for February rain.
that's what I thought. And then I woke up and there's snow on the ground. I was like, "What's going on here? Am I in Minnesota still?" And then I hear it was snowing in Vegas.
What?
Oh, really?
Snowing in Las
I didn't
Vegas.
hear
Yeah,
that.
so. Like, that's a big change, you know. Maybe we'll get the nice weather up here and they can have the snow.
Yeah. Wasn't it just flooding?
I'm not going to fight with that.
Wasn't it flooding in Vegas this summer too? Or like this fall?
Yeah, at some point it was.
Yeah.
Think, like, the strip was
and
flooded.
it's a desert. They need the rain.
I suppose. Yeah.
What'd you do, Jake?
So I kept a 15-year tradition alive with my wife. We always go to Italian pie shop in Egan or St. Paul. It's a pizza place. We've been doing that since we first started dating on Valentine's Day. So got their pizza and brought it home and ate with the kids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you have kids with this woman.
I do. Yeah. I've got a son and a daughter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be a lot of work.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. She's able to stay home with the kids, so it's good. They're always at home when I leave and get back. So it's it's good. I love it. Really enjoy it.
Yeah, like well, we just wanted to talk to you today a little bit, Jacob, just about what you do for work.
Sure, yeah. I can get right into it. I'm an attorney for Enbridge, in-house counsel for them, and I mainly support our tribal engagement team out of Edina, Minnesota. Most of our tribal engagement team here in the U.S. is located out of Duluth, so I'm up here quite a bit. Prior to joining Enbridge, I worked for 3 years for the League of Minnesota Cities in St. Paul. Essentially, they're the insurance trust for 800 and I think it's close to 40 cities now within Minnesota. So I was there for 3 years right after I got out of law school. So I've been an attorney going on about 5 years now.
Where'd you go to law school at?
Went to Mitchell Hamlin in St. Paul and actually started at Hamlin University, and the Hamlin and William Mitchell College of Law, they combined while I was in law school. So went through the merger and graduated from Mitchell Hamlin.
How much did that cost you?
Too much.
Still paying for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be for a while. So,
How long is law school again?
law school is 3 years.
3?
Yep.
I don't know why I thought it was like 5.
Yeah, no, it's 3-year program.
For me, it'd probably be 5.
Yeah,
you
me
know?
too. 6 for me.
Yeah, I'll take minimal credits, please.
Yeah, I mean they've got a night school option too, and I think that adds on another year if you go to night school. But
Okay.
yeah,
So I wanted to touch down a little bit on your cultural history, like where you're from, and you know, like your maybe a little bit of your own culture and what you believe in.
sure. So I'm a descendant of White Earth Nation. My grandfather, he was born and raised on the res. I actually started the Twin Cities Tribal Council back in I think it was the 50s. He was the president of that for 17 years. And that turned into the Minnesota, I forget what the name is now, but it's what he started was a predecessor to that. So our family, they've been heavily involved in tribal politics and just various tribal issues throughout the years. My uncle David Glass, he works for the BIA currently, and I spent my formative years going up to Shooting Star on the White Earth Reservation for our family reunions. And in my position here with Enbridge, it's been nice to be able to kind of reconnect with that heritage, being able to get out to White Earth more frequently and meet with different tribal nations here in Minnesota. Really kind of brought me back to my roots, I guess, with that tribal heritage. It's been good.
Yes.
Did you grow up there at all?
I did not grow up
Okay.
in Mahnomen at all. Nope. My grandpa, like I said, he was born and raised. I assume he moved off the res when he went to World War II. And then he moved to St. Paul, and that's where my father and aunts and uncles grew up. And then I was born and raised in Maplewood and now live in Woodbury. It's 10 minutes from my parents' house, so I didn't move far.
Oh, okay.
So, being of White Earth descent, do you get any like backlash, I guess, for working with Enbridge at all?
Sure. I mean, not really backlash.
Or like criticizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain instances with different organizations where when I first joined Enbridge, for example, I wasn't able to make a donation to an organization I'd been a part of, tribal organization I had been part of for 10, 15 years because of essentially the stigma surrounding the Enbridge name at the time.
Yeah.
So I faced some backlash like that. Luckily, that organization got over it and able to kind of rejoin that and attend various events now without feeling like an outsider, like I did right when I joined Enbridge. But I think that's the biggest backlash that I've personally felt.
Yeah, because I feel like Enbridge is very tribally.
Engaging.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that word. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, my dad's an attorney here in Minnesota, and he works for a utility company, and I know they do not have anything close to the tribal engagement department as Enbridge does. It's a concerted effort on behalf of Enbridge as a company to engage with these tribal nations, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm excited to be a part of it, and like I said, it's brought me closer to my Native American heritage for sure.
Well, I feel like that's something that's also unique in its own way because not a lot of corporations that operate within the res have a tribal engagement team or, I guess, tribal issues into consideration when operating within the res. So I think it's like really cool how you guys have your own, like, I would say division within Enbridge. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel it's definitely beneficial for Enbridge as a whole, and I think it could be a model used within the industry as a whole moving forward. I think we're doing things the right way in our reach out to tribal nations and our concerted efforts to sit down at a table and discuss various issues that come up, not just go ahead with these projects without any consultation with the tribes. I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest takeaway that I see, just the appreciation that these tribal leaders share, I guess, when we actually come to the table, sit down and have meaningful conversations with them as we develop these various projects that cross their sovereign land.
Right.
I know that part of your job would be educating, right? Educating about various things that are going to be happening through the res, correct?
Sure. Yep.
And how do you guys go about that?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're talking project specific.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a project within reservation boundaries. I think the first thing is it's a reach out to the tribe. I mean, they're going to be not only a regulator, but they're going to be a partner in anything that crosses the reservation. So, I mean, that's the first approach, is to just get the right people in the room from both sides to discuss the project that's being proposed, or if it's a integrity dig where we've already got a project in the area, we're going out to check on something. It's always the first contact is reaching out to the tribe to make them aware of what's happening, and I think that's important. It can head off a bunch of issues after the fact if you don't do it, and just the respect factor, I think, is huge. Making that initial contact to the tribe directly. That's how I approach those, and that's kind of the direction that Enbridge as a whole, our tribal engagement team as a whole, has directed our internal folks as well.
Do you ever like go out on the field at all, or are you mostly like office work and?
No, yeah, I try and get out in the field as much as I can. I think it's important to be in the room and to put a face to the name.
Yeah.
Like I said, I met with a tribal nation here on Monday and traveled up from the cities. It was an 2-hour long meeting, but I felt it was important to be in the room and have that face-to-face discussions, because I think there's a lot of benefit to that. So yeah, I try and get out in the field as much as I can.
So I kind of wanted to go back to kind of like the start of when you were in college. Did you receive any scholarships or anything from like White Earth or anything like that?
I don't think I received anything from White Earth. I received the Minnesota American Indian Bar Association received their scholarships in law school. The National American Indian Bar Association, I got their scholarship. A few other Indigenous scholarships through Hamlin and Mitchell Hamlin as well. That's law school specific. For undergrad, I don't know if I got any, tribal or Native American related scholarships. I may have, but I was a part of the. I think it was Lee Carr at that time at University of Minnesota Duluth was the tribal or the Indian student liaison. So I was a part of that group, but yeah, it was definitely beneficial to be Native going to law school to get be able to access the scholarship money.
Yeah, and there's a ton of scholarships out there.
There is, for sure.
Native Americans.
Yeah, and I think when I was in law school at Hamlin when I started, I was one of 2 Native Americans to start my 1L year as a law student. So it was we're definitely in the minority there.
Are you pushing your daughter to go to college, Joel?
I'd let her make her own choice. She's actually doing really good. She's actually, just finished her license, her permit for the in-class thing, and she got herself there a lot of the time, so, and she gets herself to school when I'm not in town, and like when I'm working, she gets up and does it all herself, so she's really adulting, and
Nice.
That's all she needs is money.
That's what you're there for.
And that's it. She always that's all she really asks for is money. So I'm just happy to be able to provide that and make her life a little better.
Yeah.
And like I heard Jacob talking about like being out in the field, like his answer to being out in the field, and that's where I came from. I came from out in the field, and I see a lot of the things that happen out there, and I got to meet a lot of really, really good people out there, and I know there's a little bit of a stigma, out there, like with some of the stuff that's happened in the past and stuff like that, and it just made me feel good that that I could be the ears and the eyes out there, to protect like not only my right as an Indigenous man, but to protect, even women and stuff like that out there. And, and I've made very, very good friends out in the field, actually, like, your sister's one of them. Alyssa's sister's one of them. So, and I just, like, I think that, Enbridge does do a very good job at keeping people safe and making people aware of what's going on and how things are being done. And, like, I wanted to kind of get into, you deal with a lot of the tribal side of things. Do you use your history, like as a native being when you go into those situations that, like where you may need to be gentle or, like just to be aware of certain things and how you, like, I would say how you conduct yourself, is it you think it's easier for you to do that than it is for, like someone of, with no tribal history at all?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm essentially specifically about meeting with tribes on behalf of Enbridge. And given that direction internally, I mean, the tribes, there's an expectation that they are met with on a government-to-government basis. So, I mean, that's leadership to leadership when they're having those discussions. And that's one of the things internally that our tribal engagement team as a whole kind of preaches is, we need decision makers and we need, people at the highest levels to sit down with these tribal chairmen and these tribal councils and have that discussion. It's not, we're going to face pushback if it's just me in the room with the tribal chairman. I don't have decision-making powers, and that's not respecting their sovereign authority. That's not respecting their governmental structure. So just having that background is it's beneficial, having that tribal background to kind of guide our internal business units on how to respectfully, work with the tribes on a daily basis.
Are there other tribal attorneys, either descendants or enrollees that are in your firm?
Yeah,
Is that the word?
So I'm in-house counsel. So we've got a
In-house
group
counsel,
of attorneys that are assigned to the U.S. Liquid Pipeline Division of Enbridge. I'm the only descendant or Native American in my group.
Okay.
There's Native attorneys out of Canada, but for the U.S., from what I know, I'm the only Native American attorney for Enbridge in-house.
What's that like?
It's good. I think it's beneficial for Enbridge, and it's beneficial for the tribes to know that there's a Native American attorney in-house at a company like Enbridge. And I think Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, in an event I was at, said it best when she made a comment about needing Native leaders in positions of power within these bigger companies. And that's one of my goals at Enbridge, is to hopefully eventually move up the ladder, but definitely happy in my position. And it's a position where I can effect change internally and bring those Native values internally at Enbridge.
We actually got to meet Peggy Flanagan a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So we were at an event, and they had like fry bread and
Sure.
soup and stuff like that, but they didn't have any butter for the fry bread. And
I was bummed. I was so
So
bummed.
was I. Joel just did something about it.
he walked right up to Peggy Flanagan and was like, "You got any butter for the bread?"
I figure she's Native.
There you go.
But it made her smile, and that's what it's
Sure.
about,
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
I really like that you're of Native descendancy, and I think what you do and maybe just a little bit of how you got to where you're at, like what was going on in your head, as you were taking those steps to create a future for yourself, how
Sure.
to create some stability in your life, because it's like that's things that our youth need to hear, is like the possibilities of being able to do like what you do, or just being in the law field, or just creating pathways, and maybe just a little bit awareness of
Yeah.
how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as mentioned previously, I was extremely lucky. My dad's a Native attorney in Minnesota, so I grew up with him, and listening to him on a daily basis, and kind of giving me some guidance on what path I should or shouldn't take. And actually, after undergrad, I didn't know if I wanted to become an attorney or not. My dad actually told me not to. So I took 2 years off and worked for Ramsey County in the elections division down in the cities before I eventually decided to go back to law school. But that was after meeting with a lot of different mentors throughout the years, as far as getting insight into, for me, what the practice of law looks like, what options are there. And then when I decided to go to law school, I think, there's that expectation, being Native American, that when you go to law school, you're going to focus on Native American tribal law, which is good. That's great to have that background, but I knew it wasn't an area that, I knew I didn't want to go in-house with the tribe and just work strictly on tribe-related issues. I wanted to kind of have a broader focus, which, like I said, my dad, he's a in-house attorney for a utility company in Minnesota as well, and that's kind of the work that I enjoyed. So going through law school, I really focused on that aspect of things. I clerked at the Public Utilities Commission, Department of Commerce, Department of Transportation in Minnesota. So tried to get real-world experience to see what I wanted to do. And after law school, got the offer to go work with the League of Minnesota Cities. Wasn't specifically what I focused on in law school, but it was a great opportunity, and it was a great experience to gain in the 3 years I was there. And then I saw Enbridge made a posting for an attorney to support their tribal engagement department, and I thought it would just be a natural fit. I had the 3 years of experience at the League of Minnesota Cities, so I didn't really have that pipeline experience. But my interview really laid that out and made sure they were aware of what I had, and it's been really glad I made the decision to come to Enbridge. It's been great organization, great mentors, great coworkers, and I think just in-house and for tribal nations as a whole, I think there's a lot of opportunity to partner with Enbridge moving forward, to diversify the portfolio, so it's not just gaming from the casinos as your only revenue source. We've got different renewable projects that are out there that we're looking for equity investment in, or partnerships in, and it's I'm really excited to be a part of that work and that energy transition as well.
I feel like that's kind of an issue on quite a few reservations, is only relying on the casino for a source of income, or I don't know, does Fond du Lac
Yeah, like
have any other
that's,
businesses?
that's a lot of tribes' main revenue is the
Yeah.
casino, you know, and I know my tribe has been talking about pushing other businesses and business plans and stuff like that, you know, other than the casino, because I know that was maybe 10 years ago they were talking about that. What if the casino closed down?
Right.
Where would the revenue be coming from, you know? Like,
Well, and I think COVID was eye-opening when the casinos did have to shut down and that revenue source was shut off. I think that opened the eyes of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And this revenue stream can be shut off just like that. It's
Can I ask how the renewable energy would benefit tribes?
Yeah, I think it's just part of the whole energy transition that we're all going through, and I'm happy and excited to be a part of a company that's kind of on the forefront of that. Even though we do have obviously our pipeline assets, we're actively working on a lot of renewable stuff as well. As far as how that would help the tribes, there's various partnership opportunities for the tribes to work with us on these projects, which would give them a cheaper source of energy and then a revenue stream as well coming off of whatever's generated. So there's a lot of benefits to it and a lot of opportunity out there.
We're all about, we want to get everybody working and get good paying jobs, and
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help whoever we can to change their life around. Sometimes all it takes is a good paying job and being able to provide for your family.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got internally, Enbridge has a Indigenous hiring director out of Canada whose focus is on hiring Indigenous candidates to internal postings with Enbridge. So I encourage anyone listening to this, if you're interested, feel free to reach out to me directly. I can get you in touch with the right people internally with Enbridge. But like I said, it's a great company. I've enjoyed it, and I think they're doing the right things with our travel engagement department and the reach outs to tribal nations for sure.
I agree.
I do agree. Like, I think, like a really, good thing to do is, educate,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that's one of the hugest things. And that's what I've always enjoyed about, being able to listen and hear what, Enbridge has to say and how they do things. And I've just been grateful for that, my mind has changed.
Sure.
About, the possibilities and opportunities that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's, how you put that out there, that's a really good thing to put out there, about, if you want to do something and, you want to give it a try, give something, try to do something different with yourself, especially for the younger listeners, and even, myself, it's like that creates a possibility in my mind, to try to reach for something better.
Sure.
And strive, especially, when they're so accepting of, the Indigenous people. That's, that's, and people need to hear that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is just having those conversations, being available to sit down, go to, if a tribe shows interest, being able to go there, sit down, meet with them in person and discuss any issues, concerns, or if they are interested in any partnership opportunities, just being accessible is huge. And that's something that I've really enjoyed with Enbridge. They're very accessible and very willing to let me go and meet with different Indigenous leaders in person, which has been extremely beneficial.
When we first pulled up to the studio, I seen you had a sled in the back of your...
I did, yeah.
Is your plan to go sledding after this?
It is, yeah. I've got a few meetings here and then heading to the cabin for a long weekend.
Nice.
We'll go ice fishing and snowmobiling.
Is it up in Duluth area?
It's actually Bacchus area, so about 2 hours west of here.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, just about 5 miles north of where Line 3 crosses State Highway 84.
Oh, okay.
Got a cabin right there.
You'll have to send us a map. We'll meet you up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, more than welcome. More than welcome.
Is the family meeting you up there?
No, I've got a bunch of buddies coming up for the weekend.
boys trip.
Yeah, boys trip this weekend. No, I had my son up there about a month ago for the first time in the winter, so he loved it. So
Did you take him ice fishing?
ice fishing, snowmobiling a little bit. I've got a little cart to pull behind my sled that I can throw him in, and yeah, he loved it. So
I always see horror stories of like people who spear.
yeah.
And they,
Oh, sure.
those big ice chunks.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy actually down in the cities fell into one of those 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 14 feet of water, but was able to pull himself out.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That is very
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
I was
Cold.
down by the Lake Superior, out on those big ice currents or whatever those are, and I kind of walked up to the top, and they're just falling off, and I'm standing on it, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm hearing them fall. So I was like, this ain't a good place to be, you know, like.
I gotta go.
Yeah, so
I think I was supposed to climb up here.
yeah. So a guys weekend, huh?
Yeah.
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 Looks like Alyssa can't come. Let's go, Ricky.
Stay at home.
Yeah. Hopefully catch some fish. We'll see.
What lake is that up there?
It's a small lake, Hand Lake. It's about 45 minutes south of Leech.
Oh, okay.
That's the easiest way to describe it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no fish though.
Oh, you never catch anything,
No,
so.
never.
Oh, okay. More of a hangout, I guess.
Oh, I'm kidding. We catch fish.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got for you.
Sounds good.
Unless there's anything that we missed that you would like to talk about at all?
Not off the top of my head. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. And like I said, if there are any younger listeners that are thinking about getting into a legal career or even joining Enbridge in general, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to sit down and discuss.
How about some training opportunities? Do you guys have any of those?
So Five Skies training. I don't know where they are currently. I think they're actually in
Northern Lights?
Leech
Yeah,
Lake. Yeah, I
yeah.
think they're up there right now. But yeah, if you're looking for training opportunities, just Google Five Skies training, and I'm sure their schedule and opportunities will pop up. But yeah, it'd be a good opportunity there. We usually get really good turnout, and it's ever increasing, which is good. But yeah, Five Skies training.
Thank you, Jake.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down and letting us pick your brain.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.